How do you create your own sound as a music producer? Like Fred Again, when you listen to his music, you know it's Fred Again. When you listen to Avicii, you know it's Avicii without even having to see the song title or the artist name. Today I want to simplify this process because I think as music producers we tend to overthink this concept. So I'm going to show you how I approach it. I'm going to show you a couple of practical tips that I use that can help you get going with this straight away. But before that, I think there's two things that are really important to understand to try and change the way we look at this process. The first thing is that your sound is about you, it's about your personality, and it's about your musical preferences. Learning production and sound design skills are really useful to help bring your sound to life, but ultimately your sound comes from you. And the second thing is that no music that you listen to today is 100% original. Deadmau5 didn't invent the kick and clap rhythm, and Avicii wasn't the first person to make a catchy melody. But what they both did is that they took what was already out there and they put their spin on it. And that was based on their own personal preferences and musical taste. So here's something that you can start working on today to start understanding where your sound comes from. And it all begins with making a Spotify playlist. If you haven't got Spotify, you can use any other streaming platform, but you basically want to make a playlist of some of your favorite music. And you might have already done this because naturally, when we're listening to music, we save songs, we put some into playlists that we want to listen to later. So you might already have a bit of a sound bank. But if you can narrow this down to about 20 songs, and either in the same genre that you want to make music in, or they could be cross-genre, it doesn't really matter. You just want to pick about 20 songs that, you know, really resonate with you. And just call the playlist whatever you want. Inspiration, it's your sound influence bank, whatever it is. And the purpose of doing this is to kind of condense your musical taste into a short playlist. And this will really help you understand what types of music really resonates with you. And that's the first step to developing your own sound when you start making music yourself. Okay, so let me show you my one, and I've kind of left it on more than 20 songs because I started this a long time ago, and it basically demonstrates my journey through electronic music until I started making it myself. So if you've already made a playlist, and this is a good example of how you can use this and condense this down. So from here I could pick 20 songs out of this one and really kind of narrow it down. But if we look right at the top, so when I kind of made this playlist, you can see Eric Prydz was right up there. He was probably one of the first electronic music artists that I started to listen to. This was probably, maybe when I made this, probably around 2012, 13, something like that. So Eric Prydz, you can see there's a lot of Avicii in there, Swedish House Mafia, Deadmau5, Netski, Mike Poisner. Then there's some Audion, so I was kind of going a bit more into progressive house here. Afrojack, Axwell, some more Swedish House Mafia. I was kind of in probably a bit more of a mainstream kind of era here. Alesso. And then as we go down, there's a couple of songs I used to listen to when I was younger. Pendulum, some more Deadmau5. But then you see there's a Lane 8 song there. So at this point I kind of discovered melodic house. There's Forrester, Jero, Leyouth, Massane, a bit of Fred Again in there, John Summit. Got Claptone, Ben Boma, some more melodic house, some more Juna Deep there with Yotto and Nils Hoffman, Neuro Impure. So if I was to sum up this playlist, I'd probably say it's kind of a mix between sort of that high energy electronic music like Eric Prydz, feel good stuff like Avicii, but then it starts to go a little bit more into progressive house, Audion's been a big inspiration to me, and then it kind of starts going into more melodic house. So it's very much a mix of those kind of things, and it's really interesting to see what I listen to most, what I want to put on my playlist, because it starts to show where my musical taste comes in. So now I want to show you how I use this playlist when I'm making music in Ableton Live. So I've got this song coming out in a couple of weeks, it's called Homecoming, and I really use this playlist technique to help kind of develop this song into something that I felt was quite authentically me. So I'll play you a little section just so you get the vibe. So if I broke down this song a little bit more, we can see down here that I'm using a reference track, which is a Sultan and Shepherd song. So we can already see that there's some melodic house inspiration in there. But if I delve a little bit closer, obviously there's loads of Avicii on my playlist that I've listened to over the years. So I've layered up my leads, but you can see I've actually, down here, I don't know if you can see it, I've actually called it Avicii Pluck because I found this pluck sound and it just had a bit of an Avicii vibe. Let me show you a little bit of it. It wasn't fully Avicii, it was just like a kind of, it reminded me of him a little bit. And then another thing on the playlist I was listening to a lot of Audion or Eric Prydz. So they have some sounds that are a little bit more kind of intense, maybe some soul wave type synths in there. So there was a lead that I brought in to kind of counter everything. Let's find it here. So if we play this whole lead section together, then you can kind of hear there's a few different influences going on at the same time. So I'm really just trying to blend my different influences into one. But then the Sultan and Shepherd song, if you go and listen to it, it's called Lima. It's really good. It kind of has this really cool kind of melody all the way up until the break about here, and then it completely kind of calms the whole song down and has a really long build up back into a drop right over here. And I kind of replicated that in mine, but I was using different kind of elements. So I'll play you a little bit of what that kind of sounds like. So it like completely breaks it down, and then has these like really nice kind of mellow section where it's just slowly starting to build back up, and it builds up loads and loads until it drops again. Okay, so even in just this song project, there's inspirational elements from Sultan and Shepherd, melodic house, progressive house, Avicii, Eric Prydz. There's all those different artists that I listened to over the years and still enjoy to listen to now. I've kind of taken that influence and tried to put it in to a song that I've been making, but the outcome actually doesn't, for me anyway, I don't feel like it sounds particularly like either one of those. It is a bit of a blend, and that's where you're putting your own spin on things. So you're going to bring your own emotion into this song, and you're going to pick the different sound elements that you'd like. You're going to tweak them with the production and sound design skills, and the outcome might be inspired by these different artists, but the actual song at the end of the day is going to be yours, and it's going to be fresh, and it's going to sound like you. And I think that's what developing your own sound is all about. So start off making your own playlist, condense it to about 20 songs if you can, all your favorite stuff, things that really resonate with you, and then start looking at those songs and thinking what kind of elements do they use within their music production, and then you can start using those techniques within your own one, and you can blend it together into something that you like and it sounds more like you. And trust your ears as well, like what sounds best. So if you're making a song and maybe it does sound too much like another artist and you don't want it to, then just sort of tone that section down a little bit or change it. Take the influence but make it a little bit different. And that's exactly what these big artists have done. If you think about Avicii, one of the things he was most famous for was combining electronic music with kind of country style music. And then the thing about Fred Again, he's mixing electronic house music with kind of grime and hip hop. So all these people are doing, they're just taking inspiration and just mashing it up together and making something that they think sounds cool, and that ends up turning into their sound. So when you listen to it, you automatically think of that artist. So one last thing I'm going to leave you with today, and I'm going to do a separate video on this because I think I could talk loads about it, but it's to start thinking about branding. And the reason being is because when you're trying to develop your own sound, one thing that helps people remember it and it sticks in their head more is when they'll match it up with your personality or your branding. So people aren't just drawn to how a song sounds, it's also about the artist and what kind of message they're giving out, or what kind of vibe do they give off. So thinking about developing your own sound as well as bringing your personality and your branding across on all the social stuff that we do can really help amplify you as an artist, and people are going to remember you much more if they like your music but they also like you as an artist. Okay, thanks for listening today. Next time let's have a little think about how we can bring the brand inside into things, but yeah, really appreciate your support if you've got this far in the video, and I'll see you very soon.